the offers for Garrett Cole.
I don't want to answer one officiating question today, so I won't. Keep going. Sorry. Listen, you're talking to me right after a tough loss, so are you telling me how I'm supposed to feel? All right, I don't feel encouraged. All right, I feel frustrated because we had opportunities earlier in the game offensively to take advantage of field position. We had a number of opportunities. We had missed assignments, so no, I'm not encouraged that way.
All right, welcome back to First Take. We're coming to you live from above the Heineken River Deck at Pier 17. The Niners win a thriller over the Saints in what might be the game of the year in the NFL. The Saints have already clinched their division, but the loss drops New Orleans to the 3 seed in a loaded NFC. Max Kellerman, Are you encouraged or discouraged by the Saints team's performance?
I'm encouraged by the Saints. They were my preseason pick. I think the Niners are a little better than them. It seemed that way to me after, I don't know how many, a handful of weeks into the season. Whoa, the Niners might be the best team in the NFC. But the Saints are certainly up there, and I have to be encouraged by it. Look, it was a shootout, man. That's what happens. Don't tell me about run defense, because I've always said about the Saints, well, they got a stout run defense for a team with a dynamic offense. But, like, the Niners got scored all over also. It's just one of those games. And in terms of being job, like, this can't be it can't be both the Niners' best win and the reason you think they might win the Super Bowl and Jimmy G's coming out party and all these things, and also, the Saints had to win the game. Like, the reason it's so excellent for the Niners is they had to do something that's very hard to do, and even then the Saints were victimized. And it took the victimization of the Saints by the refs again. And by the way, like, I'll point out in the NFC Championship game last year that the refs missed a call on a pass interference call on the others, or a holding call on the other side of the field that would have been, been against that would have been against the Rams. I'll point that out, and so Peyton don't complain and cry about it just because the missed call against you was more obvious. But in this case, guys, you fake a punt, okay? I don't understand at that point the rule. The Buddy Ryan rule makes no sense to me. If you fake a punt, it means you didn't punt. But okay, because of the Buddy Ryan rule where they were just throwing 50-50 balls all over the place and hoping for a pass interference call, you can't get a pass interference. Fine, but as Sean Payton pointed out, you can still get a holding call. That's still a holding call. Otherwise, if you can't call a holding call, then on every fake punt ever, they're just going to jump all over the guy. It's ridiculous. They blew the call. And in a game that was that close, that took not only heroics by Jimmy G, not only a blown call, but one of the best plays you'll ever see by Kittle in order to the Niners to win the game, we can't sit there and go, oh, man, that's bad for the Saints. I didn't see anything encouraging from them. I sure did.
Well, you're encouraged. I'm discouraged. And because I take history into consideration when it comes to the New Orleans Saints. Last 2 years, you could have been in the Super Bowl. Your defender forgot to tackle somebody. Stephon Diggs goes in for a game-winning touchdown as time expires with Case Keenum as your quarterback. Last year, we know the pass interference that wasn't called. We get all of that. Sean Payton made such a stink about it. I happen to know some of the things that he said to a few people in the NFL office. It was beyond the pale, completely unnecessary, and to me, devoid of the level of accountability you as a coach need to have in terms of having an impact on the outcome. You understand that sometimes it can be a play here or there, particularly with a title on the line, where you can lose that. Let's go back to history. 2014, you're the 28th ranked defense. 2015, you're dead last defensively. 2016, you're 31st in the league before you upgraded to being 10th, and then you got to 14th, and now you're the 17th defense in the league. So even though they're better, they're going in the wrong direction. Why do we say they're better? Because they were so god-awful for so many years back in the day that we're relieved that they have somewhat of a defense now. So you take that into consideration. You also had Drew Brees since 2006, but you only been to one Super Bowl. And once again, here you are in front of the media. What do? That touchdown, 75-yard touchdown catch, Marcus, by Emmanuel Sanders. You had a defender there. Y'all were both pushing each other. He beat you. You got the Kittle's 4th and 2, Garoppolo to Kittle. What happened? You got some miniature dude on Kittle. The holding penalty that wasn't called. Sure, they could have called a holding penalty, but on supposed punts, they're not looking to do that a lot of times. They're usually looking at a clip in the back. You, Sean Payton, a great coach, have been around too long not to know these things are possibilities and not to know things don't work in your direction all the time. So you plan accordingly. He hasn't. And once again, he comes across as somebody that's so willing to blame everyone else but himself. I do not understand that.
I like the fact that you took it to the field, Stephen A., because that's where I'm at. Here's my thing. This is what I'm encouraged about. I'm encouraged that they were able to be in this game and they lost Jared Cook. I don't think people are making a big enough plan to that. He was ripping the 49ers before he went out of the game with a concussion.
They probably win if he stays in the game.
They probably do. Probably. But when you think about where the Saints are, right, some people, I know a lot of people from Louisiana, they call it bad luck. All right. And to your point, Stephen A., I think it's a great way to look at it in a different way when you talk about the Minnesota situation of them giving up that touchdown. But last year, man, this team was gutted by a call. Like, let's just call it what it is. So this year, Sean Payton is scarred.
And it happened this year early.
That's what I'm saying.
Has anybody been jumped more than this team? No.
It's such an emotional sticking point. And I don't think it would be this issue if it didn't continue to happen. Like, I can't sit in this seat and look at Sean Payton watch refs blow calls against the Saints or make bad calls against the Saints and not think that he's reverting back to a play.
Look at this play. Come on, you got to call
something. That cost me the opportunity and Drew Brees the opportunity to go to a Super Bowl. Here's the deal on this play. This play in particular. First of all, they not calling holding, Max. That's what he was arguing about. Everybody keeps talking about pass interference. There is no PI on punt. The holding call that Sean Payton was asking for, they never call it because they are thinking that the gunner. Look at this. It's bad.
If there's not a penalty on that play, never fake a punt. You're not allowed to fake a punt.
That's the point, Max. The point is what everybody was saying was, Sean Payton, we get your argument that you saying this guy was held, but gunners are held on every punt. And we don't call it. Because if they did, they'll call every punter get repunted, re-kicked, 5 yards, whatever they want to do with it. Here's the point for me. Coaching, to Stephen A's point. If you faking a punt thinking that you're going to catch Salah off guard, first of all, in that particular situation as a defender, that's a possibility. It was high probability that you could get a fake at that point based on the way the game was going. Like, Sean, just put your Hall of Famer out there. Who's been ripping. If you're trying to convert a fourth down, put your Hall of Famer out there and see if they can convert a first down and make a play instead of doing that.
But what I'm saying about this play, and they got to change this rule. I understand why it's there, but it's an idiotic rule. If you fake a punt, it's not a punt. Like, I'm sorry that there were a lot of weird plays going on once upon a time where you're looking for PI, but if that can happen, then you just never fake a punt.
Yeah, we got to go. At the end of the day, we talked about Clemson, Dabo speaking through the media. He's also speaking through the media like, hey, you better not do this for me. It's a loaded NFC. We know that for sure. Moving forward in the playoffs. More to come, guys, on First Take. Where has this Rams team been all season? Are they now a contender in a loaded NFC? We'll debate that after the break.